But this past Saturday, Mr. Fulmer, Ms. Hazard, as well as myself, all went by the transportation office, and we met some of our transportation staff. They had a training class this past weekend. We have a recruitment day this coming Saturday. So we are onboarding some people. Obviously not fast enough, but we are making every effort to do that. And I will just mention this, I've observed this with our staff. I've talked to parents about transportation issues. I know Mr. Fulmer spent probably a couple days over at the transportation office. Actually had a parent who drove in with his concerns, and they met with them. And Mr. Baldwin's probably being exhausted with us asking them to call parents back. But we are communicating directly with those parents, sometimes not as often as quickly as we'd like to. But what we find is generally we can address the concerns when we have those conversations with parents. So we don't want to discourage you if you have a concern. But I do want to invite Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Fulmer to talk a little bit about the adjustments we've made since the beginning of the year to address communication. Not to say that we're there yet. We still have work to do.
All right. Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Jones. Just to talk about communication and what we've done. We've tried to create some live documents that we share between our dispatch office and our schools for daily updates. So if a bus or we do not have a driver for that day, we are able to put in this document in which the schools can see. From that is how we send our messages. So we send a phone communication and a text communication and an email about the status of the bus. Primarily, if there's no driver for that particular time, we share that. But the goal is to send a bus back around. Chances are that bus will be late. But we are telling folks at that point of time if there is a bus or no bus for that time period. And so we do that in the morning. We try to set a set time that we are able to send it out at least 45 minutes to an hour before each tier. So before the elementary, before the middle schools, before the high schools. We've met that time period at times, and sometimes we have not. It's really based on in the morning at how many drivers are calling in and maybe what time. It could be some mechanical errors. It could be anything, and we try to keep that message going out in the morning as well in the afternoon. And it goes for accidents that are occurring if the bus breaks down. So we are using the resources that we have. Now, in terms of personnel resources, at any point in time during the day, I have anywhere from 2 to 3 people on the phone lines. Our dispatch office kind of stays online with our schools. They have some of the direct lines. We are using email. It's actually a Google Hangout that each school has, and that our dispatch team, if they're on the radio with the bus, the phone may be ringing and they may be chatting a school up to determine, hey, we are sending some run sheets to you, or the school may chat to them to say, we're looking for a child, do you have this, what time a bus will come? So we do have active modes of communication. Would we like to have more resources in terms of personnel to help do that? Yes, we would. That's always a push. We are interviewing, we started today for some extra admin help, but we've tried to put something in place because the folks that are usually answering these phone calls are, again, on the bus. And so the parents that call in that want to know what's going on, if there's a special case, a safety issue about a bus stop, or want to know why the bus has been late, these are the folks that can research it and get back to our folks. My lead drivers, those are the primary ones that are doing it. They may be on the bus in the morning, they come back, they get information from our communication system of any notes, of any issues. They try to research it and get back to the parents before they leave and get on the afternoon ones. And once they're done, they come back and they try to follow with some phone calls. And so we have our folks doing the same thing. I'm on the phone, I'm moving around, and so in the evenings, I'm able to make phone calls to parents about any particular issues. And like you said, parents are upset. I get it. They want the kids in school on time. I want to get them there on time. But to be able to listen to them, and then be able to offer some assistance and the mode of what we're trying to do. It has been some pleasant conversations. I'm not solving their problems because I can't tell them what time and when I'm going to be able to get their child to school on time, but they're better to understand our situation. And I also invite them to call me back. If there's something that we can solve, and if it continues, I tell them, please call me back so we can address it, because a lot of the things we can fix. I can't necessarily fix all the late arrivals, but in terms of the communication, of understanding, I try to lay that groundwork so that they understand that we're working. It's not something that we are just pushing to the side, that we are ignoring them. It's that the volume sometimes overruns what we can give back to you. You're welcome to leave a message or send an email. We will return your calls and get back to you.
Madam Chair, can I follow up with a question? What is the remedy during your explanation of this? You had said the communication gets sent out if there is no bus or if the bus is going to be late. I guess my question is, what is the remedy for when you have to communicate to parents that there is no bus? How are we getting these kids to school?
Well, if there's no bus at that time, we are telling them. But we also are telling them that we will send a bus back after the school day starts for them. So basically what happens is any bus that finishes during school, dispatch will call out and ask, can you go back and rerun a route? And what we will do is go back around. So, and that's what we're telling families, because we do not have a bus at that particular time, but we will send a bus back around, and it's usually after the time school starts.
Okay, so getting back to what I asked Dr. Jones during the member comment, can you use an extra set of hands for temporary administrative help to help you answer phones so that the people in central or in your office can be doing other things, whether it's driving or getting?
Yes, and we have provided that. We do have a retiree administrator that's been able to come in and help respond to parent phone calls. We have actually started interviewing for more administrative assistance help to be able to have more folks respond to the phone calls when the parents are actually calling in.
So these are permanent positions that you're creating?
Right now, temporary positions, hoping that we can fall into a permanent position.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, if you need anything more from us, please ask for it.
Trust me, I am and will be.
You may not have an answer to this tonight, but, and I talked some with Dr. Jones about this, the students that have been late every day for the past 5-6 weeks, why are they continually being late? And this may be a rhetorical question, but I don't understand. If we know these students are being left, they're late every day, why we are not able to do something about it. So this is my frustration. I don't get it. And these students, and we had a speaker tonight who I assume you're going to get in touch with tomorrow morning to discuss, her particular situation and that bus. But I don't get it, how we can allow students to be late every single day with maybe some help on the horizon, but it's not going to be tomorrow and probably not the next day. So that's what I'm looking for when Dr. Jones gets us that data on the buses that are late. Which buses or is it random buses? Because what I'm hearing from, and I'm sure the only people that are going to contact the school board are the ones that don't have any relief. The people that have been late, their kids have been late every day, except I didn't see one that was on time yesterday, so yay. Maybe that's going to be a new track we're going to be on. So, and I know if you could wave a wand, you'd have everybody in school early. But there's got to be something, as Ms. Hollerback asked, resources. That's actually what I asked Dr. Jones as well when I sent him an email. What can the school board do? And that's what I'm going to hear. What can we do to make sure that you're able to get our kids to school? And I'm going to say, optimistically early, so they can get that breakfast, they can get settled in before the day starts. So that's, you don't have to try to answer that now, but I do want to know that, and I'm going to be looking for an answer at some point. You know, why we haven't done anything for the kids that are late every day. I mean, as a parent, I wouldn't want my child late any days, but if they were late every day, I don't know, but I'd be up here ranting.
I understand.
And God bless our parents, because they're trying to be supportive. You know, they're not. You know, they're not reacting the way I feel I would be reacting, you know, under the circumstances. They're grateful. We're all grateful we're in school, but this is an area we owe these kids. We do.